Crusty. G'day, Blue Baggers, and welcome to the pre-game show for this round's match against Adelaide. It's your host, Jed Zetzer here, alongside Harrison Hymans. Has big game today.
Zoot, great to be back. Second last game of the year, a big game. The finals door is still ajar after a couple of results have gone our way. The Giants have capitulated, so we just got to do the business today, don't we?
Oh, this game has been marked on the calendar for a while now. We've been a little bit anxious about it. Didn't want to be the first team to lose to them, but there's been a couple before us that have lost to them. I'm almost thinking that's probably not the best thing because now they've found a bit of momentum.
They have, and I think the thing with Adelaide is they've almost found their best 22, so they're settled. Yep. And I think it's going to be a very interesting game. They've been playing quick, and we know that some teams have exposed us on the outside, so it's definitely going to be very interesting. What did you make of the 3 Carlton changes?
Interesting. I would have loved to have seen Owies get another crack. I know he didn't set the world on fire in his debut, but just would have loved to have seen him get a crack. And I feel like against Adelaide, it would have been a good opportunity for him to hit the scoreboard. But, I mean, the changes are good. They're good from a best 22 point of view. You're bringing in Gibbons and Betts, who are definitely in the 22. And then you've got O'Brien, who we've all been crying out to see. So the ins are good. The outs are questionable. But, you know, that's what's going to happen because now we've got some genuine competition for spots in the 22. So you can't expect to be, you can't expect to have players to make way who aren't good. Now, now you've got to drop players who are good. What do you think?
Yeah, I agree. I think obviously Gibbons, is a bit of a walk up at the moment. And I think whilst we're still alive and we're still, somewhat in the picture as much as we can, I think, you probably got to play Betts in a game like today, against his old club as well. I just think, at the end of the day, Adelaide wouldn't want to see Betts out there over Owies. So I just think, we have to put somewhat of a fear element into the opposition.
Yeah, 100%.
And then O'Brien's going to be I'm very excited to see Lockie O'Brien. Obviously, we know he is somewhat of a good ball user, outside player. So it's kind of the winger we need. I think we had to see it before the season was out. There'll know 2 ways about it.
Absolutely. Questions come through. Where is Kennedy? Well, it's interesting because I think Matt Kennedy is probably going to go into the off season pretty nervy. I don't know if they'll give him another contract. I mean, we're tight for list spots. List spots are going to reduce, even if it's just to 40 and 2. So I don't know how he'd be feeling. I mean, he can't get a game. When he was playing, he was good. I was pretty happy with how he was playing, and I thought it was unlucky that he got injured when he did. But he hasn't been able to make his way back into the side. Do you think he'd be one going into the off-season that would be anxious about getting a new contract?
For sure. He's definitely in a bit of limbo. And I think with Kennedy, I think it's one of those things where he's kind of in between. I think his form wouldn't warrant him being delisted, but I'm not sure if it warrants him getting another contract, if that makes sense.
I agree. You'd almost just want him to have 1 year left, just so.
He's just in no man's land, Kennedy.
I think if we list him, he'll 100% be picked up. 100%.
Yeah, no, he should. And the other big one was the hero from last week, Cottrell, getting omitted.
Well, I guess that's what happens now when you've got this genuine depth and you've got competition for spots. You can't afford to have. I think he had an 8 disposal game. You can't afford to have one of those. I mean, I know he's been the hero. I know he's kicked the goal. I know he's stepped up in the biggest moment. And it's probably stiff. He got dropped. But at the end of the day, I guess it doesn't cover up what was, to be fair, like a pretty ordinary performance by him.
It was an ordinary performance. And I think it's ruthless. I think, and they're the decisions, we have to take the, the fairy tale element out of it because I didn't think Cottrell played too well by the goal. But it is stiff. And I think obviously Owies being dropped, after one game is also, stiff for anyone. But it's happened a couple of times. It happened with Honey and it happened with Phil before he got a late reprieve against St Kilda. So yeah.
There's a comment that's come through. Sorry, I'm late. I was practicing my Cottrell in the mirror. That's brilliant. That's brilliant. Blue Baggers, send through one player from Adelaide who you think Carlton absolutely must match up on today in order to beat the Crows. So someone who we can't let get off the leash, who do you think that player is from Adelaide, and who do you think should go to them? Bolt, who will Curnow go to today?
So the one that's added a pretty good element for them is Rory Laird through the middle.
Yeah.
He's been really, really dangerous, Rory Laird. I think the Crouches and the Sloanes, I still see them as more accumulators than guys that are going to kill us on the outside. So I think Laird's one that I definitely would want to, and even Brodie Smith also as well. See, Crouch, I'd definitely be willing to go to Brad Crouch rather than Matt Crouch. But yeah, for me, I'd be, putting close attention on Rory Laird.
Who goes to Laird, though?
It's an interesting one. And then, obviously, I guess the other one, I know he hasn't been playing great this year, but, Taylor Walker being out just almost, as in whenever you lose a key forward, I think it helps, irregardless of the type of form they're in. So they'll go in with, I think, Frampton's back into the side and Elliot Himmelberg. So it'll be very interesting. Who would you target if you had to?
Well, a lot of comments are coming through saying Sloane. So you got Laird and Sloane and Crouch, the big three who the Blue Baggers want us to match up on. I probably am going to say, and someone said Brodie Smith as well. I'm going to say, I think Curnow should go to Sloane because I think Sloane's come in this past fortnight and been very damaging. He's sort of he's almost like their little engine in the midfield, just gets everyone on their feet, gets everyone working harder. So I'd be saying Curnow to Sloane, but it's interesting. I mean, Crouch is more of an accumulator, so he's not going to have that same dominance on the game in terms of his ball use, but he gets a lot of it. So Curnow may go on him as well.
Yeah, it's a very interesting one. And even, I see someone's, put in the comments, Tyson Stengel. Stengel and McAdam have looked so dangerous the last few weeks. And even he looked pretty good last week. So, Williamson and Simpson, and these types, Petrevski Seed, and they're going to have, and Lockie Murphy got omitted, which is interesting because I quite like him. But, they're looking pretty dangerous up forward Adelaide at the moment. So we've just got to play Adam Rice.
I like that.
Well, Gibbs has been playing the 2 games he's played this year. He's played in the back pocket, so I wouldn't rule it out.
I'm so like, it's such an end of an era, isn't it? Gibbs going out, Cruz going. I know Cruz is not playing, but you would have thought Gibbs had a couple more years left in him.
Yeah, it fell away from him so quickly. It's a real shame. He played
coming through, by the way.
Yeah, he was playing such good footy at the end of 2017. He finished 4th in their best and fairest in 2018, Gibbs. But it's crazy. And then the other one we've had to farewell this week, Matty Cruiser.
So Matty Cruiser, Blue Baggers, send through in the comments. I want you to comment some of your favourite Matty Cruiser memories, and we'll read them out. Comment them in. He's one of the Carlton, he's one of our heroes of this era. I mean, he's played 190 games, is it? 189?
189. I'm just getting the weather for Cheryl.
189 for a guy who's just been absolutely bashed since day one. Just has never had a lucky run with injuries. I think it was Andy Marr said he's probably played 20 games at full fitness feeling fully healthy out of his 190. So, so Julian Vidge says 3 goals in the final quarter versus, that was in his debut season. I mean,
he got the Rising Star nomination that game.
Yeah, it was an unbelievable performance. Unbelievable. A couple of comments coming through. The goal against Port in 2016, the winner, that one definitely comes to mind. Blue Bag is at the game. If you're in Queensland and you're at the game today, I think the Carlton cheer squad in Queensland have shouting Cruiser at the G. Love it. That's a great moment as well. I think the Carlton fans in Queensland are saying in the 8th minute, they're just going to belt out one last cruise. So that would be pretty cool if that happens.
Yeah, it will be good. As
Isaac's just said, shouting Cruiser at the G. That's like growing up. That's awesome. When Cruiser gets the ball, you just know that, that atmosphere, that noise around the stadium. It's unmatched, I think, around the league. I don't know one other player who has that same, like effect on a crowd.
No, I know. He just always played with his heart on his sleeve. And even, as recently as last year, he was still bullying some of the really dominant ruckmen in the competition. As in, he was taking it up to Marshall and Grundy. Do you remember there was that game in 2000 and I think it was 2015 where we won the Wooden Spoon? beat Melbourne in the second last game of the year under John Barker, and Gawn just town on Cruiser. And I think we were like 10 goals to 1 up at half time. And I remember Cruiser and Cripps were just huge in that game.
They were.
It's a shame for Cruiser because, he played the first 56 games after debuting and then did his knee against Freo in 2010 and I think he would miss 1 in every 3 after that. So,
yeah. He's had a horrible run. Yeah.
And we never really got to see. We got to see Cruiser have 1 complete season, which was in 2017, and he was in the
Australian 40.
Yeah,
should have made the team probably. Blue Daggers. I know he plays for the Crows now, but Gibbsy, he's one of our own. Send through your favourite Bryce Gibbs moments from his career, and we'll read some of them out because he's still played 100 and how many games did Gibbs play for us? Was it
240 odd, I think.
240, yeah. So yeah, send through your favourite Bryce Gibbs moments from his career, and we'll read them out. Now, Bolt, key matchups today. We'll read them out as the show goes on. But key matches today in the back line. Who's going to match up on their forwards? We spoke about Tex being out. We spoke about their small forwards. Yep. Who are their bigger forwards though, and who can we expect Wiedering and Jones to go to?
Yeah, well, it's going to be Frampton and Himmelberg are their big fellas. So I would suspect Jones to Frampton, Wiedering to Himmelberg, but flip of the coin, really. They're the only 2 big guys they've got. Tom on the side. So he's the medium forward. I'm not sure if Plowman goes to him or goes to one of the smalls in like a Stengel or McAdam. Because Lynch does play a bit further up the ground, so maybe he'll attract, even it's a bit of a tough one. It just depends how deep Lynch plays. But
someone's asked here, do we think Carlton will make finals? If everything falls into place, would be lovely, but don't think so. Sorry, Bolt.
One game at a time. If we win today, it's going to be relevant going into the last game of the season next week. So you never know.
Yeah, you never know. Another one. Bolt, someone's complimented you. Nice hat, buddy.
Yeah, people commented on the hat. I appreciate it. The old Ralph Lauren. It's always trusty.
Trustworthy. Midfield, we've spoken about. Forward line. So who can we expect to see line up on Big H, McGovern? Who's going to line up on our forwards? Eddie as well. Who are they going to send to Eddie? That'll be interesting.
I think Luke Brown will go to Bets. Daniel Talia's out this week as well, which is a big plus for us. So Jordan Butts will come in for his 2nd game of the year. So I think Butts will probably get the Casbolt matchup. I think Butts will go to Mackay and Hardigan will go to Casbolt, in my opinion.
Okay.
And then there's McGovern as well against his old club. There's a few against their old teams today.
Yeah.
I'm not sure who's going to get the McGovern matchup. Andrew McPherson. I think AMAC will get McGovern.
Okay. That's interesting. Yeah, Mick Stounson's just said, what are we going to do with McGovern?
Look, he needs a big game. His last fortnight's been very disappointing. So
it has been. Some comments about Gibbsy's career. Fabiano_G7 says Bryce's goal in the 3rd quarter of the 2011 elimination final. That was a great goal. Vaguely, it's funny. I don't remember a heap of goals individually. I remember matches, but I honestly remember that goal.
Yeah.
And pardon?
He got it from Judd.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Actually, he kicked a couple in that 3rd quarter. I think he kicked 4 in that elimination final.
Yeah, I was going to say, he had a huge day. Carlton needs Essendon to win and St Kilda to win, and Carlton will make finals. Yep.
That is exactly how and we need the Bulldogs to slip up on the way as well.
We also need to beat Brisbane. We can't forget.
There's a lot of pieces to this very complex jigsaw for us.
Yes, absolutely. A couple of others coming through about Gibbsy's career. Someone said on the Gold Coast in 2017, Braden Lee. Did he have 40 that night? Gibbs up on the Gold Coast, 2017. How can he have 40?
Was that the game? That's the game where we just controlled the ball for the whole first half. Is that when Barlow tore, broke his leg? Is that game?
Could have been.
Jack Cavani kicks a couple late. I think it's that game. Yeah. I was going to say, I think Bryce Gibbs. I think his biggest coming of there's 2 games for me with Gibbs. The week before the Richmond final, where we had to beat Port Adelaide in Adelaide, he was awesome. He kicked a clutch goal in the last quarter as well. He was brilliant. And for me, 2014 was clearly Bryce Gibbs' best year. He won our best and fairest, and he turned into a goal-kicking midfielder. We played Geelong on a Friday night. We lost the game, but I think he kicked 4 goals from the middle against the Cats, and it was just incredible.
Was that the year where we lost to them twice by like 2 points?
Yeah, twice by less than a goal on a Friday night.
Yeah. Very interesting. Very, very interesting.
Bit of faith here for the Magpie Army. Nicholas D. Magpies says, I'm a Collingwood supporter and I believe Carlton will make the final as well.
I mean,
this week.
That's what we want to hear, really. That's what we want to hear.
You never know. But
it's going to be very interesting. Predictions, Bolt?
For this week's game? I hate getting ahead of myself, but we really, like, if we play the way we want to play, like, there's no reason why we shouldn't be winning today, really. I'm I'm going to say Carlton by 4 goals, but I just hope they win. And I hope
send through in the comments, comment who you think is going to win and the margin, and we'll see who backs the Blues. I mean, I wouldn't imagine there'd be many Adelaide supporters tuning in, so I'd like to think most tips are going Carlton's way, but it'll be interesting. Comment Carlton 1 to 39. I think it's a good. I'd like us to win by more, but I mean, a win's a win. You take the 4 points. Now, Bolt,
goals element as well, not too bad.
Yeah, Bolt. 2 matches left for the year. We know who's running out this week. Is there anyone who you'd like to see? I know we're looking ahead a week now, but in the final round of the season, is there anyone you'd like to see play before the season ends? Who we haven't really seen a lot of?
If we win today, I'd like to just see the best 22 next week.
Absolutely.
But yeah, Lockie O'Brien's the big one because I do believe there is a future for Lockie O'Brien at the Carlton Football Club. So I really hope he's just switched on. Lots of love coming here for the Blues today. 37-43. I got the old X from Jim.
Blues by 40. Carlton by 25. Colin O'Brien. Colin, are you related to Lockie? That would be awesome. Someone's commented Blues by 5 points. That'll be interesting. That would be, everyone's been saying Carlton needed to send out a defibrillator in the membership pack this year. If they put us through the ringer today,
oh God,
don't know how much more it can take.
5 wins by less than 7 points this year. It's
crazy.
It really has. And who are your tips to chair Bryce Gibbs off the ground today?
Got to be Murph and Simo. It has to be.
I'm going to say Murphy and Sloan. I reckon they'll do 1-1.
Yeah, that's probably fair. Is Gibbs going to be at the game?
Gibbs is playing.
Sorry, not Cruiser. I meant to say Cruiser.
I think he will be, yeah.
He
should be. I'm not sure. He should be. Maybe Big Casbolt can chair him off or something like that.
Yeah, well, I mean, he won't get chair. He'll probably do a walk-off.
Yeah, I like the optimism here from Callum Hiraman. Blues by 70 points. That would be a beautiful day.
Jerry White said Blues by 75. So there's a lot of love coming through.
Oh,
It'll
God.
be very interesting.
This game, I don't know about you, but this game just reeks of that game on the Gold Coast in 2012. It's just
it does. It's got that weird, everything could sort of go wrong. But they've won 2 in a row. I mean, what if we were to lose, what would it be? Like, would it be panic stations?
I wouldn't say panic stations, but it'd just be so deflating for what has been a really good year. As in, if we win today, we go 8-8. It's the most wins we've had since 2013. We top last year's wins tally in a shortened season. It's just, just statistically speaking, there's so much we can gain from winning today rather than just staying alive. It's just, these are the games as a group we just have to win. We just have to come and do the job and win.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, very quickly, who's going to kick our goals today, Bolt? Who's going to kick the most goals for Carlton today? Will it be a big or a small?
I want to say a big. I just think with no Talia, they're a little bit, depleted down there. Hopefully Jordan Butts takes either Casbolt or Mackay. And, should be. I'm going to say Mackay. He's been clunking him. Just got to kick him.
Well, I was going to say, so his goal kicking's been a genuine issue for us this year, I think. He's one of the better contested marks, I think, in our team and in the game. But he needs to improve his goal kicking. And I think it's the case with a lot of our players, even though we have sort of been a little bit more accurate in the last couple of weeks, but we still need to improve that goal kicking. Do we, I mean, surely they give Sav a ring and bring him back for next year?
Yeah, I'm not sure. You'd like to think so. And we saw even last week, Mackay and Cripps, had multiple shots where they would just instinctively play on and snap around the body rather than going back. So
Yeah,
I just think the less they think about it, the better they are, even though they do make it hard to watch sometimes.
Comments come through from John O'Burrell. He said it's actually Mitch McGovern's first game against his old club too. Would run a big one. Absolutely. We would. Important. He's been pretty much, nowhere to be seen the last fortnight. So we definitely need a big game from him.
Yep, no, I agree. And then he's once again, and I say it every week, Jed, he's the barometer for Carlton. I think, we play really well when McGovern's up and about. So, and he's one of those, second tier, third tier players that, if they step up today, we should be able to get a result, really. That's a funny comment from Adam. Mitch McGovern day out with 6 touches and 15 pressure acts.
That is funny.
Yeah, I can't say that's not true.
It's pretty funny. Michael Gibbons, we haven't really spoken about him. He plays a pretty important role in this team, the link man between the forward line and the midfield. And he's had an unbelievable season, in my opinion.
No, he's had a good season. He's consolidated well. And look, he probably is the perfect replacement for Jack Martin.
Absolutely.
That type of flexibility between the forward line and the midfield. But yeah, if we can get a couple goals out of Gibbons today, that's always handy, isn't it?
Yeah, I was going to say, so does he play the identical role to Martin? Because they don't usually play the exact same role. Does he adjust his role, or does maybe Cunningham play that Martin role? I'd like to see Cunningham play more in the middle.
Yeah, I agree. It'll be interesting. I was just going to say, we just had on the screen there, but Josh Dolan, who's at the game at the moment, has confirmed our suspicion out of the 8-minute mark for a huge cruiser chant. Which
everyone in Queensland, Blue Baggers who are at the game, make sure to do that 8-minute mark, a huge cruise chant. That will be awesome. Hope to hear it on the broadcast.
Yeah, it'd be great. It really would be cool, wouldn't it?
It would be awesome. It would be awesome. Tracy Reid, come on, Baggers. All the best for life after football, Cruz and Bryce. I love that because they are humans at the end of the day, and it's going to be a loss. It's going to be a massive loss, Cruiser, because our ruck coach as well. So that'll be felt on and off the field majorly.
Yeah, and look, it's the end of an era. They were our, the number 1 draft picks in the 2006 and 7 drafts.
End of an era.
It really is. I think a lot of people have grown up with, the trio of Murphy, Gibbs, and Cruiser. So to lose 2 in the 1 hit is very interesting. And hopefully, what Mr. Mitchie says, we're singing that after the game, hopefully.
Yeah. That'll be fantastic.
It's remaining alive, Mitchie boy.
It definitely is. It definitely is. Now, Blues, if you missed earlier in the show, we were telling you to comment your favourite Bryce Gibbs and Matthew Cruiser moments from their career, and we'll read them out on the show. So if you haven't done that yet, make sure to comment. We'd love to get some more in. So people are saying if we win by 42, we're in the 8.
But then the Bulldogs play directly after us.
Okay.
So
still, it would be nice.
So if we win by about 7 or 8 goals, we should be in the 8 after our game. And then the Bulldogs will have the right of reply in the next game against Hawthorn, where we're brown and gold today if we get up. Yeah,
we seriously are. Is Cruz going to be the ruck coach next year from JB_Gould? I'd like to hope so. I'm not sure if he'll keep that role. I feel like did he not say he's got something lined up? I'm not sure, but yeah, be very interesting. I'd like him to keep that role because we don't have a ruck coach other than him.
Yeah, I'm not so sure what he's doing, but I know he says he's been doing all the work this year with TDK and Mark Pitternet. So, and look, I think Pitternet and De Koning have been terrific, replacements this year. To be honest, they've done everything we asked of them. So, I think what makes the Cruiser decision somewhat easier is the fact that I think we can see the progress of TDK, especially that I think we are going to be in pretty good hands in the ruck department for some time.
As in, you did say after last week's match. He said, well, that's probably Cruz's time at the club up. You can't not play De Koning.
Yeah, he was unbelievable last week. De Koning's last quarter was exceptional. And he would have known Cruz. He would have known that
Yeah,
was
he would have been watching that and knowing. Now, very quickly, Bolt, I want to discuss this before the game. Best and fairest this year.
Yes.
Top 3. Now, in our joint best and fairest, we've got Wiedering 1, Walsh 2, and Curnow 3.
Yeah.
For the Blue Baggers listening, comment your top 3 in order in this year's best and fairest, your predictions. And Bolt, I want to talk about it. Has Wieders got it locked away, or could Curnow or Walsh potentially snag it? And just very quickly, Alexander Lada has donated $3. Thank you, Alexander. Absolutely love your work. But yeah, best and fairest discussion. It's interesting. Yeah. Has Wieders got it locked away?
I'd like to think so. I think Wiedering, there's not much more he could have done this year in terms of his role, in terms of contribution. He's just been unbelievable this year, Wiedering. He definitely went up a gear in 2019, but he's gone to another galaxy in 2020. So I think Wiedering, in terms of consistency throughout the entire season, deserves the best and fairest. And Sam Walsh, probably since the Port Adelaide game in round 7, has just been something else. So yeah, for me, it's a Wiedering, Walsh, Curnow job at the moment. Just got Todd here riding a dark horse Pitternet. See, I think the issue with Pitternet is he's missed, a number of games.
Missed way too many games. Way too many.
Yes, he's probably going to struggle. I think, Cripps is always going to be in the conversation as well. Even Liam Jones hasn't missed a game this year.
I think it's the Arbin. That's actually our order. Arbin. Adam Gould says Wieders, Walsh, and Plowman. Yeah, so Plowman is another one who finished top 3 last year, who's, in my opinion, had clearly a better season this year.
Yeah.
I mean, if that happens again, could you imagine if he goes back-to-back top 3?
Goodness gracious me. That's all I can say.
To be honest, if Lockie Plowman made the top 3 this year, I wouldn't be. I'd be a bit surprised, but it wouldn't be like absolute shock and he didn't deserve it, because he's had an outstanding season, but last year was just the shock.
I know. Yeah, Michael as well, the Wiedering, Walsh, Curnow. I think that looks like the most popular trio, the Wiedering, Walsh, Curnow trio. I think the other dark horse we have to speak about, just in terms of consistency over the year, and he hasn't missed a game, is Will Setterfield.
Yeah, so he's top 5 for mine. I think safely in the 5.
I think I've got him 5 or 6, either with Jones or him.
Yeah, he should be top 5.
Yeah, Setterfield's better. I really hope Jacob Wiedering wins the best and fairest, because he is just, he really should be the Australian fullback. And if he can, cap off season 2020 in a rebuilding side, knowing that we've probably got arguably the best key defender in the game, he's got a best and fairest and an All-Australian jacket to his name, then it's who knows what that man can achieve, really.
Yeah, it just does a world. It does, world for his confidence as well. Yeah, a lot of comments coming through for Setterfield, which is awesome. Jack Fisher. The thing is, though, I think with Carlton's best and fairest, and someone said Pitternet before, these guys who have missed games may, average out, the top 5 for votes per match. But in terms of the best and fairest, I think missing games probably, I don't know if you can win it if you miss too many games, because the way the voting works, you're almost, well behind if you even miss one.
Yep. Yeah, and Doherty as well, he's going to be around, the top 7, top 8 mark. First goal kicker for today, Jed. Quick prediction.
Interesting one. Love it, Mick. Send through your predictions in the comments for first goal kicker today. I'm going to say Gibbons.
Yeah, I don't mind it. I'm going to say Dr. Jack Nunes.
The doctor. We have to talk about him for a minute, don't we? Because the last week, unbelievable. That third quarter.
His third quarter.
The second half of the season has been scary.
He has. No, he's just settled in. He's found his role. He's found his niche, and he's had. He's not going to miss a game in his first year as a delisted free agent. So he's been good. A bit of love here for Eddie Betts' first goal.
Yeah,
I'd love it if Cripper kicked the first goal, but we'll see what happens.
We will. Now, Blue Baggers, 5 minutes to the game. We're not going to hold you any longer because it's now getting very close to the bounce of the ball. Bolt, very quickly, margin, are we going to win? And how much by?
Carlton by 27, hopefully.
Yeah, I'm going to say Carlton by 33. Blue Baggers, thank you so much for tuning in to this week's pre-game show. Good luck for the match. I hope everyone enjoys it. And be sure to tune into Terry's fan cam post-match. Bolt, I trust you'll have your defibrillator on hand in case it gets very, very tight.
No doubt.
Yeah, looking forward to this one.
All good. See you later. Go Blues.
See you, Blue Baggers.